we do 3 days. We do 13 bands a day. It's a total of 39 bands at 3 days. We used to do it on Saturday. I stopped it because by Friday night I'm done. I don't have anything left in the tank. I used to get like bronchitis by the end because you're talking 4 days of almost not sleeping, and I was so exhausted that I didn't even sleep on Sunday when I was off. But I collapsed on Monday. It's like I was still wired because, when you do a festival, you're running around, who needs this? Who needs a microphone? Who needs an extension cord? I need another time. I have to get another room. Little Johnny is smashing the copy machine with his marching band drumsticks. Fix it. Who's in the bathroom, like throwing spitballs at the mirror? Nobody, people think you're going to talk about jazz, Duke Ellington. No, you're mopping up. You're with a squeegee and a mop, and you're running around trying to keep the thing running.
Getting everybody's attention, like Hilda said, right? Getting everybody's attention.
Right. Exactly. Right. So this year with COVID, I think we've had some people drop out, and then we've had some people, they dropped out because of busing. We were filled we had all 39 bands with like about, I think 8 bands like on a waiting list. And then when COVID hit and January came by, 4 dropped out, 2 dropped out. Then 2 of the 4 that dropped out were able to get it. They were able to get their buses. Then they call me, their slot was taken since they dropped out. I got to find another slot. So it's like a big, like a whack-a-mole game. So right now, though we could do 13 bands a day and we have a total of 39 bands, right now, I think we have 33 bands coming, which isn't bad, with 2 bands possibly coming back. They don't cancel because they can't, because they're not ready. They don't get, because, when you come to our festival, you sit, you play, we sit in with the band, we make some comments, we want you to have fun. There's no win-lose.
So you should riff on this part right here, because not everybody might not know that. A lot of people at least in my demographic right now in the competition world, we do struggle with that. We struggle with the emotion that competition brings on, be it positive or negative. Sure. Competition, not for everybody, but for most of us, definitely for my program anyway, is a big motivating factor. Again, whether positive or negative, something that they're very much into.
Sure, absolutely.
So I was going to say with my program, there's a lot of kids who are not going to school for music. There are kids there who are just it's a super serious hobby for them. And this is, their outlet to do it. So for the programs either that are competitive or the ones who really don't know about your festival, this is a really great point for you to kind of riff on about the vibe that you guys create there.
Well, the thing is, it's a non-competitive festival, and I'm fine with. I'm going out to do Elmhurst Festival. It's a 4-day event. That's a competitive festival. I'm doing it after the Rowan Festival with Steve Wiest and Bergeron and Wayno. We're going to do it together, and that's competitive. And I think it's, however, that's a competitive festival with a lot of positive stuff going on. So what Doug Beach has been able to build out there is a competitive festival with clinics all the time, a hang, go and have dinner with the guys. I mean, he has the money and the facilities to do what he does, which is like no other festival. So whether you win or lose, there's so much other great stuff. You leave with like a great thing. So I think that, and I've gone to plenty of, I've gone to like almost all the schools at one point where the band directors that make the festival or they make competitions, the kids will look at the band director to see how to frame what a competition is. That's all. So, and I'm fine with the competition thing. I'm glad that Rowan doesn't have it because of that, we have our festival early. So it's usually in February. No one's ready, especially this year. No one's ready because of COVID. And some people are going back. They were virtual until February 1st. Wow. So, I mean, they're just barely able to get back. So I sent out an email. I said, look, if you're able to come, you're ready. There's no judgment here. There's only, let's have some coaching, have some fun with it. And, we'll tell you what to work on and you'll see, and we can sit in. And I did I followed your advice when you were mentioning, because we used to have like 9-10 clinicians descend on the band. That's not going to happen anymore. We're going to have 2 people out front, and there'll be like maybe 2 others who can sit in. Johnny Barnes on trumpet, Skip Spratt on alto. It might be Ed Vizino and Rufus out front, or Ed Vizino and Doug Mapp out front. And I'm running around. I'll be out front if I can, but I never can, But it's and I think we'll have somebody. Oh, and Dan Monahan on drums. We're gonna have somebody on drums, because drums is, unless you play drums as a band director, you don't even know how to set that thing up. Drums is we had somebody come in and play drums, and it just didn't look right. He was playing, and he was just and we're all looking at him thinking, I don't know where you got that drum set. You look messed up with it. And then when Jimmy Miller was alive, our drum teacher, he was looking at this drummer and he said, wait a minute. You have the bass drum backwards, because the bass drum's backwards and the hole for the mount for the tom-toms is offset in the center. The mount's supposed to be close to you. But if you spin the bass drum and you flip the heads on the wrong side, it looks like it's set up right, but the mount is so far away that the tom-toms, when you set them up, they're further. So who would have picked that out? I wouldn't. So Jimmy, it took him a minute. And so having a drummer is really good, because the drum set is a nightmare. And if you don't play drums, you just hope that you don't have to really deal with it, because you know what you're talking about. And the same thing with guitar. A lot of people, here's a piano part, give it to the guitar player. He's got a whammy bar. He's got he looks at player, and you're playing the Semi-Mystical chart, and you just hope that, I hope I don't have to say anything to him. I don't know how to guitar. I don't know anything about guitar. And if you write a chord in thirds for guitar, it's impossible to play. Well, you don't know that unless you're a guitar player. So it's kind of nice to have these, I don't want to say one-off instruments, but you can only talk conceptually to a drummer or a guitar player, but you can't tell them the real physical how to make the stuff happen. So we're going to have guys, usually we had about 9 clinicians. Now we're going to run with 5. So I'm taking that, and this is probably a good time to reset the festival and do some different things. So we do that. The bands come in, they play, they have a half an hour. The band director can either use their time to play their tunes, and then we can say something, or the band director can ask us immediately when they come in, will you please sit in? Maybe they don't have a good trumpet player, maybe the kid's sick, and who knows who's going to come this year. Anybody can be sick anytime. We can have a 2-person trumpet section. So they can come in and say, look, we need a trumpet player. I'll ask John Barnes to sight read it with the band when they just do their regular performance. Or you could use the whole half hour and play as many tunes as you want. And then when it's finished, we don't have to say anything. So the band director can design what they want from us when they come in. And a lot of them know this, because a lot of them keep coming back. And because of this setup, and it's a safe environment, we always have, the last 7 years, we've had all 39 slots filled with a waiting list of at least 10. Which makes you feel like I maybe do another day, which I don't feel like going enough. I don't want to be an ER afterwards. So the other thing is, because it's non-competitive, we get people that don't go to any other festival, because some of these bands, they would never be able to hang with the, say, 9 to 11 bands that usually make all the competitive festivals later on in May and April. This is the only thing that some of them go to. And we'll get junior high bands. You don't have to qualify. I don't need to hear any recordings. No one's ready anyway. So I think it's an advantage to have it early. If we did it 2 months later, it would be on top of everything else. If we made it competitive, I think it would defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do. And I realize it's a unique thing, but I kind of like it, and I like the way that this is kind of the attitude that we have in Rowan when we're teaching. Come on in, and we're going to help you. We're going to be real, but we're going to try and we understand that everything is a little more fragile. It's almost like where before babies would come in, they're still coming in, but now they're sunburned. So you got to be careful. You know what I mean? So we have that. We understand it, and it's fine. I've had band directors first time. Somebody's coming from Staten Island this year. We have somebody from Delaware. We have a couple different bands, and they're all dealing with busing. It's all based on busing. They all want to come. They all want to be there. And I understand that it's all based that they can't get buses because the districts have consolidated. There's more for the bus companies to do, so there's less time in the middle of the day to have the free time. So even though we go from 9 to 4:30, everyone loves 10 to 2. Mm-hmm. The time of the day, because that's when the busing thing isn't a problem. It's when so I just first come, first serve. I do a mailing to about 400 band directors. I gave you that list, but we do it. So the